Welcome back to KB Living. Today, we're actually, yeah, that's right, we're getting a transmission. Soon after I had edited the last video there, I said that I didn't know what we were going to do. And it just so happened I found a parts truck about 2 hours away or so from me in Maryland, and it, I asked the guy, I said, hey, is this a 6-liter? Yep. Is it 4-wheel drive? Yep. Does it have a lot of miles? 147,000. Alright. How's it shift? Yeah, pretty good. Pulls good. Sold. How much do you want for it? $600. I said, alright, sure. So, $600 will get me a transmission that hopefully I can just slap right in and, works. I don't know. We'll see if it works or not. We're going to get this transmission. I'll bring you guys in when we get there. Hopefully all's good and it's clean and it fits in this car. I gotta fold the seat down. I will. I'll strap it in with the seat belt. Don't you worry about that. But worst case, leave the trunk open a little bit if I have to. If it won't shut, I got some straps in the back. So, yeah, wish me luck. See when we get there. Alright, well, just picked it up. Looks good. A little oil covered, but it's to be expected. Good thing, fit in the back of the trunk, and holy cow, that thing is heavy. Wow. Much heavier than I thought. It's gonna be fun getting it out of there myself. Might have to break out the old tractor or something. But plan is to clean it up a little bit, and then I got the torque converter with it on and everything, so I'll put it in, and then I'll drop the pan, swap the filter out, and then fill it up with fluid, and hope that it works and everything's good with it, and I can get this truck on the road. All right, well, we're back. Next day. I don't know, really weird. It might be a little windy out here. I don't know. So I got most everything I need, I think, to get this transmission out and the new old one in. Give you guys a look at what's going on here. Not much. Got it up on stands with the Save Me, I'm Being Crushed 2000 jacked up in there because, I got the old Harbor Freight jack stands that were supposed to be recalled, and they're almost as high as they go, so that's good. But as promised, I will give you a glimpse of this transmission. Well, here it is. Nothing pretty, but I think it'll work. Just scrub the outside of this, get it nice. Maybe throw a thing of paint. Probably not. Just gonna clean it and throw it in there because I'm curious to see if this thing will actually work or not. Okay. Yep. It's tight under here still. And creeper really doesn't help much, but that's better than laying on my back. Yeah, it's hard to tell because there's not really any light up there, but they're soaked. So the next thing is we're gonna unplug all the O2 sensors. One there, I think there's one right there. There's one right here. And there's one in the back wire right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug all those. Again, I can tell this transmission's been out because I was looking at a couple of these electric clips and they're actually broken off. So this one here is missing the little tab that locks over the sensor. So, all right, we got all those unhooked. Now, I'm gonna try, see if I can get those bolts undone here. Okay, it wasn't too bad. I broke one, but I got a welder here, some extra nuts laying around, so I might be able to get that one out. But yeah, so the trick was to break them loose first with a pry bar or a breaker bar. I have like a 2-foot breaker bar, I guess, and then I run them back forth a couple times with the breaker bar. And then what you want to do is, well, first you're going to spray them like I did, break them with the breaker bar, and then you're going to take your gun, if you have a gun like mine, it'll make it much easier. And you're going to just run it out a little bit, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. And then each time just taking it out a little bit farther. And that's going to make sure that you're not just going to be heating the bolt up too much, and it decreases your chance of a break. So I got, what, there's 6, I got 5 out of 6, so that's not terrible. So next I gotta see if I can fish this thing out of here. It's gonna be, I think, oh, that one's easy. Okay, oh, okay, well, that one, you saw that real time, that just came out. So looks like those are bolted to the transmission here. There's a bracket that comes down. Guess you can see that, I don't know. Yeah, so looks like there's a bolt there, but I can't even get to that. So I'm gonna try and take out these two. It's just one, two. Okay, there's one on top here, and then one on the side right here, and one up right about here. Middle finger is. Take those off, and that should help me get these out of here. A little bit of a spray. I know that's not going to do anything, but you know, guy can hope. I'm going to spray these as well. These flange ones. Trying to get stuff on the ground here. Oh, it's because the one bolt's broken. Oh, that makes my job even better. Nope. That's why I like Milwaukee better. The Milwaukee guns at work, and they don't have that nipple, and I can. All right, I'm gonna close my eyes. Well, that works. Okay, let's try this other one. Am I gonna be so lucky over here? Wow. Again, those are some tough bolts. Wow. They came off like that. Is crazy. Usually they snap off, but this one, can't believe that. So it's a slip joint pipe then too. It's interesting. Okay, here we go. Yep. Okay, coming back at you here. So we got the exhaust is out. There's one piece laying over there, and the other piece is right there. Slid out this way. So yeah, all right, exhaust is out. So that's good. I think I'll address that broken stud after I get the transmission out. So now it's we'll disconnect the drive shafts, I think. But where the shaft ends, there's 4 little 11mm head bolts that you take out, and then it will slide out of this, drop that on the ground, and then the front one is pretty much the same. It's 4 11mm bolts. And all right, so got the drive shafts out. Rear one was pretty easy. Like I said, you just take off the 4 11mm bolts back there, and it slides right out of the transfer case. The front one is a little bit more interesting. So typically there's another band clamp up here to keep dirt and stuff out from the transfer case. So I'm gonna have to find like a hose clamp or something, put back in there later, but mine was missing. But typically you just stick like a screwdriver in here and just pop it out, and I'll pop those off. The little tabs you can see right there. So that's pretty much it. I start draining the fluid, and while that's draining out, I'll go ahead and unhook all the electrical. We have to get the jack under here, pull the transmission mount out, and then we can start getting the top bolts. Before I get all that in the way, the jack and stuff, I might reach up and try and get the top couple transmission bolts from bell housing to block, because they're going to be hard to get with that in the way. I'm probably going to pull this one, I'm going to pull this one, and there's one right on the other side there. So we're also going to want to go ahead and pull the dipstick out from the engine bay. So We are going to have to take the inspection cover off to get the torque converter bolts off as well. I think that's the plan so far. So I'm going to go ahead and start draining. And basically just want to go around the whole transmission and just figure out where the electrical connections are. I mean, there's a main bulkhead one you got to pull out, and then there's probably that on one that hasn't been pulled. There's probably like ones that are clipped to it, and then your fuel lines are going to be clipped to the transmission. Mine are not. Just go around, make sure everything's loose off the transmission, and then I will come back when everything's drained and we're ready to start pulling some bolts out. It's getting cold out here, I'll tell you. Hot. That sun's going down. Skinned my finger pretty good. It's been fun. Yeah, I got all the stuff off the transmission. All the except for the transcooler lines, I'm waiting on those. But I'll take out everything I need to that's bolted onto the transmission, swap them over, and put it back in. I just got the. I just want to tell you the trick to get this thing out of here. So I unbolted this to give me a little bit more room. So you unbolt it, pull it up, and then you turn it. So it's normally like this. You turn it all the way like this, and then it sneaks out of there, and you just kind of twist it out. And I'm guessing installation is going to be, it's almost like a corkscrew, like you're turning it out. It's pretty interesting. I'm going to see if I can get that top bolt. I haven't missing bolts, so that's neat. I took the inspection cover off. That was easy, self-explanatory. Now you do have to drop the starter. I was mistaken before to be able to get to the torque converter bolts. So I got the starter out, or just loosened and out of the way. So now I'll be able to get the torque converter bolts. I was hoping to kind of get it out tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think I'm going to try and get it to a point. I'm going to get the top bolt out. And so typically what I have done in the past is you drop the transmission mount, and then you're able to kind of drop the whole engine kind of falls like this, and then you're able to get the bolt. And I'm going to try and get it with some extensions. The problem is I can't see the bolt, and there's like a dumb bracket right in the way. It makes it kind of hard. So I was getting the fill tube and check tube out just to kind of see if I can weasel my way up in there and kind of get a socket on, and then put some extensions on. I mean, they're not super tight, so I should be able to get some stuff on, pull it off with my gun. So when I finally get to that point, I will let you know. But right now I'm gonna get back to work here before it gets dark. Man, it is bright this morning. Good morning, by the way. We are back here from the previous day, and we're gonna pull this transmission out, I think, today. Like I said yesterday, I did get the top bolt out. I got the torque converter bolts out, and all that's left is there's 4 bolts left in the transmission, either side, and then the cross member mount. And I'm going to jack up, pull the cross member out, and then pull the other 4 bolts out, and this thing should just come right out. And we'll be able to pull it out, pull the transfer case off, set that aside, get the new one out of the trunk, get that cleaned up, and hopefully get the new one in here today and get most of the way back. There's a few things I need to do while the transmission is out. I have to get that bolt out of the manifold that I broke, the stud for the exhaust, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I have to clean the exhaust up a little bit. Mating surfaces where gaskets and stuff go. And you might end up having to disconnect the transfer case at least. Well, this one wasn't even tight. That's good. Wherever you can, I always try and make sure I just put the bolts back in here, so I know where they went. But they look like 15s, but it's all gonna have to be wrench. 15 wrench. Right here, that's a bolt, and then there's one up here, and there's gonna be 2 on the other side, just the same. And then it should just pop out of there, I think. Alright, so video cut out, but you take off those two transmission bolts, and then there's a plate there on the side that you saw. That's a 15 millimeter. You just need to pull it out on one side, and then you're good to go. This thing is starting to leak already, so that's good. Yeah, I gotta get the drain pan under this transfer case because you can see there's a bolt there, so you had to take off the mount, and then there's two more bolts on either side, and then this transfer case should just slide right out. Alright, I don't think that's gonna hurt me. So, got this up in here, wedged pretty good. So now the transmission, all we gotta do is just pull those 4 bolts. Alright, so I just went ahead and hooked strap there, and now I feel better about that. So, the only thing is cleaning this up, mating surface, I'll have to do that. To go get another gasket, no big deal. So next, let's get these bolts out and see if this thing wants to come out of here. Okay, well, we got the bolts out of the transmission, pretty sure. So now it's, I think I have to jack it up just a hair, kind of break it free. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more MacGyvering here. I'll be back soon and let you know how I did it. Okay, well, I got it figured out. So I got it popped loose, and I'll show you what I did. It's a little, if you're doing it on the floor, this is the way to do it. So I put that block of wood under there, like that, and then the ear sticking out of the transmission right there, and then there's a piece right about there on the engine. Stuck my long pry bar there, that one on the floor. Stuck it there, held pressure, turned my body, put my 2 feet on it, and was able to pop them loose on both sides. So now they're popped loose pretty much. So now it's kind of about wiggling it out of there and lowering it down here on the ground. Get under here and then grab a hold on the tail, and it should just kind of pop right out of there, I hope. Alright, yep, I felt it. I think I got this thing pretty well balanced as well. Oh, no I don't. Shoot. That's what you don't want to do. You don't want that to happen. I did not have it centered. Yeah, and I could have dropped it and ruined the core. I mean, it's a good core still, I think. But I could have dropped it and crushed my hand, or worse. I'm glad that my wife was able to come out and help. So now I gotta do something with this thing, pull the parts off I need, figure out how I'm gonna get that other transmission out of the trunk of my car. Yep, it's been quite a few hours here. Not quite a few, it's been maybe 2 or 3. I don't know, but good news, I got the other one in there. Bad news, that was a pain in the butt. That was not fun at all. And it is very sketchy. I'll show you. I mean, I'm lucky that it all lined up right and I didn't have too much trouble getting the bolts in. I mean, it helps when you clean things up and then everything goes together a little bit more smooth, but you can see that I am just covered from sawdust from transmission fluid, and then I put sawdust down, and then I've just been I really hope this transmission works. Yeah, she's in there, and I got the mount back in. I'm about to put the cross member in. I'm hoping that it won't be in my way to for the transfer case to that. Probably should do that if I'm being honest, because I have some pretty bad pitting on my transfer case, and I don't think I don't think that's gonna work. So I'm probably gonna end up having to smear a little bit of right stuff on there with a gasket. That way it seals right. But I don't have one. I have to get one tomorrow. And I also need a filter. And oh yeah, the other thing is I couldn't drill out the I couldn't get the stud out of the manifold. I mean, I'm probably gonna end up putting headers on it at some point, because those manifolds are, you know, they've seen better days. I just wanted to get the thing in there. That was the hardest part. Everything else just kind of pitter patter around with and get in. So I'm gonna put this cross member back in to hold that up for the night. What's going on? 3 days in a row. Amazing, I know. So today's goal, I put that cross member back up. 2 things wrong with that. 1, transfer case still needs hooked up. 2, I actually need to take the cross member out to drop the pan to replace the filter. I don't know why. It's a little bit of a silly design, but so yeah, I think maybe today I will put the transfer case in again, put the cross member in loosely, and then torque converter bolts in as well, and I have to finish drilling out that exhaust manifold bolt, flange bolt. I have to finish doing that. Yeah, and then tomorrow will be drop pan, replace filter and gasket, put pan back on, and that'll be about it. Then we can fill it up, I think. Well, I got all the little things to hook up, exhaust. I got the electronics to hook up, which I can do.
No, that's yours. Okay,
I can do the electronics maybe today. And then what else? I have to put the fill tube in. So yeah, let's get started, I guess. All right, I think I got what I need. I got the gasket, Velcro number 72770. I've got some paper towels. I've got this 90-minute gasket maker. Made any black Permatex work. That is for the because my transfer case is a little bit pitted. I just want to make sure I get a good seal. Paper towels. Got my 15mm wrench. Uh-oh. All right, took the pressure off. I can go ahead and get that mount out. There we go. I'm just gonna wipe this down again. Get this all nice and dry. I'm just gonna take some, and I'm just gonna smear it. Just a really thin layer. I did this when I replaced the intake gasket, or I switched the motor out in my Tahoe. My intake, because it was aluminum, was so pitted, so I just went ahead and I just smeared this stuff on, and it held, thankfully. So hoping the same will be true here, and then put the gasket on and then slide the transfer case onto the transmission, and we'll be good to go. Oh, nice. Put my finger right in the goop. Really kind of on the wrong side for this, but so from what I remember, that little tab there goes up in this corner. Hope that everything lines up here. There we go. It's just kind of a matter of jiggling it into place here. There we go. Alright. Actually, I need to take this mount off too. I believe these are 15 millimeters. So I'm just gonna start close to the top here. One on either side. I'm gonna do those two just to kind of draw it in. Just gonna snug them up. Don't have to go too crazy right now. And we can go ahead and just snug the rest of these up. I'm not sure the torque value on them, so I'm just gonna go until I feel they're pretty good. And I'm just gonna go all the way around, skipping a bolt each time. Yep, my hand popped on that one, so that one's tight. Yep, okay, sure. What about you? Yep, okay. Well, transfer case back in. I'll lay this harness back up in here. Figure out where some of these plugs go. It's one with the broken clip, so I hope that stays here. These two go together. There's a fat wide blade that goes together. Alright, there's that one. Alright. Oh, wait, I found the vent hole. Did I? Yeah, I did. Alright, I think I need to move here again. I'm blinded here by the light. Ramped up like a deuce. No light. Okay. Alright, so that rusty bracket right here was what I've been fighting for a while. I went ahead and swapped this plug out with a good O-ring off the other transmission. I think it's an updated style plug or just a different one in general. It has a magnetic end on it. It's a little bit longer. It's not just a plug. So we got that on. So next thing, we have the jack cylinder under here. I want to get the torque converter bolts in. I finished plugging all these wires in. That one goes up there. I have this vent lines here, so that's good. This gets plugged in right here. Click. Good enough. This one's plugged in right here. And that'll just rest up there. This is an O2 sensor. It's seated all the way. That's good. So I'm actually going to be putting a little dab of red Loctite on the ends of these threads. I'm just going to do just a little bit, not a lot. Just to, 'cause I don't want them to back out. Rather have to use just a little bit of a bigger wrench getting them out. Than I think the torque spec on these is like 21 foot-pound or 22 foot-pounds, if I'm not mistaken. So we're just going to do hand tight. Just get this one touching the flywheel, and then I'm going to turn this to the next bolt. Just go around, and then we can start tightening them up. And I think I'm going to wait to put the starter and inspection cover in until I drill out the rest of that bolt there in the manifold flange. So, all right, now I got all those hand tight. We can take the wrench here. So I'm gonna want to draw all these in pretty evenly. Alright, now I should be able to run this one in by hand and just give it a little bit of a tighten here. Okay, that's snug. Okay, that's tight. one. Okay, well, they're all tight. All right, next day, let's go ahead and get this pan dropped here. I think that's what we're gonna do here next. That way we can get the new filter and get the cross member in and everything and call that good. And then we can continue sometime here to put the exhaust and other stuff back on. But let's get this pan done. All right, so first thing is we're gonna start with the drain plug. Guy said he drained it. I just wanna make sure most of it is out before I go ahead and drop the pan, which I'll go ahead and do. I believe they're all 10 millimeter. I'll show you when it's dropped. Oh yeah, they're all 10s. So that's good. I believe there's 14 of them. Just drop it all. Like I said, you gotta make sure you have the cross member out of the way. And then we'll just kind of drop it, and then we'll clean it off, drop the filter, put the new one in, put the pan back up, and go from there. All right, pan's dropped. I'm gonna let it sit here and drip for a little bit. There's actually quite a bit of fluid left in the pan. That drain plug has like raised, so it lowers most of it out. That way, I guess when you lower the pan, you're not, you know, gonna leak all over you. This fluid has not been changed in a long time. It's definitely due for a change, and I hope changing the filter doesn't act up. So I'm gonna let it sit here for a couple minutes and kind of drain, and then move on to something else here maybe. All right, what's going on? I got the pan nice and clean now. Nice and clean. There was a little bit of shavings in there. I think pretty typical for the amount of mileage. Looks like this might have been changed before the filter, at least, because I didn't have the reusable GM gasket on it. So what I did was I went around with my Royal Purple Power and Dawn dish soap and a tad bit of Simple Green. Went around, wiped it all down, then went around with some 800 grit sandpaper, sanded some of this, you know, pitting down, and then some of this, you know, it doesn't feel raised anymore. And then I took my hammer and actually hit where the bolts go, because what happens when you run them tight is they kind of concave, or yeah, they concave up against the transmission. So pounding them down makes sure you get a nice seat again. And I did the same thing inside the transmission on the mating surface. Scraped that down with my gasket scraper very lightly, got all the hard corrosion stuff off. I went around with I sprayed my sandpaper with the Purple Power, went around and sanded it all down, and then I sprayed a rag with Purple Power mixture. And all right, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a pointer here, if I can find it. There it is. All right, so this thing, it's always a booger to get out. And what I found is best is to always just take a really tiny screwdriver, like this one here. All right, and then you got to be really careful, but just get right behind the lip of the seal, and then just go around and kind of beat it in where you can grab onto it with a pair of vice grips or something, and then that way you can kind of wiggle it and then it pops out. That's the best way that I found to do it. Here you can see I got the new one in, and then I just kind of, you know, tapped it in gently. And I just wanted to also give you a quick update here. I know it looks like there's like ridge there, but it's actually very smooth, so that's good. So now I can go ahead and take my filter, just stick it in here like this. Should be a nice fit, nice tight fit. All right, just kind of wiggle it. It'll be hard for me to do this. So just kind of wiggle it in there till till it pops right up in there, and then these two edges are touching. All right, so here's what I was talking about with the bolts and holding the pan on. So you just stick your bolts through and then just push the rubber down against them, and it holds it in place. It's not gonna fall off on you when you put it up in there. So yeah, we'll get this up in there. I'm gonna wipe this out one more time, and that'll be that. All right, well, I think that is going to do it for tonight. We went ahead and got the cross member back in. Just so you're aware, if you put on the right side, passenger side first, these are holes, and then the other side are slots. So it's best if you get these centered up to each other, tighten them up, go to this side, tighten those up, and then obviously your nuts in here, you tighten up, and that centers your transmission and transfer case. All that we're left with is the drive shafts. I think exhaust might go in first. We'll put exhaust in first. I went ahead and got things ready to go back in. I drilled that hole. That was not fun. It burned through bits like nobody's business, but I think I got it enough to make it work. Unfortunately, I'm gonna need to take this piece here to work. I'm gonna need to take this piece right here to work because I can't. Tried punching these bolts out that sheared off, but no luck. So I need to use a torch or probably a plasma cutter and just boop, real quick. All right, well, I got the drive shaft right here. So first we're gonna put the spline shaft into the differential. Make sure you grease it up. I always mark mine with a marker, like right here, where I put it, or where I took it out of, I should say. So just run them in evenly. If it's not seated all the way. All right, that's good. The drive shaft's in. And start running these up. Probably gonna wait to run them really tight until I get everything in here. Yeah, I need to go get that other gasket for the exhaust collector there at the flange. Oh, man, it feels like it's just getting chilly out here. I'm back now. I've got what I needed. Got some bolts and this other gasket here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that up a while and start wrapping this exhaust up, at least what I can do right now. Alright, well, I got exhausted up to this point. We can, I think what I'm going to do, just to trick the computer, I'm just going to clamp the other flange to this one for now, just so I can plug in the O2 sensor. And then I'll take it to work Monday and get those bolts out. All that's left is the drive shaft, and I'm gonna grease up the splines a little bit and go ahead and put that one in. All right, get it in here, the splines first. Okay, then I can slide it in there. Can line up my mark. Here, it's gotta spin the transmission a little bit. Whew. Well, I think everything I took off is back on. So, in that case, I think we're ready to drop the front of this, lift the back up, start filling the transmission with some fluid. Today's flavor of ATF fluid is Valvoline Dex Merc, mostly because it was the cheapest thing at Walmart. Some people would run the Dex 6, but I just used the Dex 3. And it was cheap. It was actually cheaper than the Super Tech. Like 30 cents cheaper a gallon. And I know I'm going to be flushing this pretty quick. When I was out, I wish I would have gotten a flexible funnel, because yeah, that's just a disaster waiting to happen there. So I'm going to have to fill it slow. What were they saying? I think it's like 7 quarts for a flush, or like a change. So this is 4, so I'll put in like 1.5, start it up, let it run through the trans cooler, and then I have the truck leveled now with the jack. So there we go. Pour a little bit in, make sure it doesn't want to leak out. Just have to get slow. Let it at that. Let's see if this thing wants to shift. Okay. Okay, what's going on? So, turned the key and nothing happened. Then I remembered that I forgot a ground that I had broken off, so I went ahead and fixed that. There, the red wire. Red is the new black. Yeah. And I turned the key and everything lit up. So right now, let's see if this thing wants to fire off. All right, here we go. There she is. All right. So now we're just gonna let it sit here and just kind of let the fluid go through a while. Well, good news is I can rev it up without much issue, so we must be in better shape so far. So I'm just gonna let it sit here and run for a minute, check for any leaks, and then I'll be right back to put it in gear. All right, so far so good. A little bit of exhaust leaks, but I think the top, it's kind of smoking up near the collector. It's probably because of my oily gloves, to be honest. But it is leaking in a couple other places, but I figured that was going to be the case. So I'm going to attempt to try and put it in gear here and see what happens. Brakes still feel good. All right, I'm going to first go to drive, reverse, neutral. Okay, so we're in drive right now. Oh, I gotta take the parking brake off. There we go. Okay. Neutral, drive, belt it shift, neutral. Just shift it back and forth from neutral. We're gonna go to reverse. I felt it engage. I'm gonna go back down to neutral. Good. Back to drive. Felt it engage. Neutral. I'm just gonna keep doing this for a minute. All right. Back to park. Good. Oh yeah. All right. I'm gonna put it in reverse and let go of the brake. Oh man, we got reverse. Go ahead. There it goes. All right. Back down to 1, 2, 3, drive, neutral, reverse. Park. Go ahead and I'm gonna let this thing get up to temperature, and then I will check the fluid level in it, see where we're at. Well, so far so good. Seems to shift through the gears. I put 7 quarts in total so far. I'm gonna let that settle for a minute and then check the fluid again, add more if I have to. The cooler needs replaced. I kind of bent it the other day when I don't know what I was doing, but I'm gonna end up having to replace that at some point. You can see here it's a little wet, so that's just from now. So I'm just gonna have to replace that at some point. Oh my goodness. Great. Well, I'm gonna have to get a new one of those ordered up, I guess. So I can leave the grill off for now. Man, it's literally pouring out of there. Okay, well, I gotta go address this quick. Good news. Got the new transmission cooler. Looks actually a little bit wider than the old one. And nice thing is it has the quick connects there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this installed. Believe the bottoms will fit, and then let the rig something up here for the top mounts. As you can see, they're a little different. Oh, I guess not. They are the same size. Well, that's good. For those of you wondering, for a 6-liter 4L80 transmission, 918-213 Dorman. Alright, well, we have that installed. I don't know why they were so tight. I've never ran into them where they're that hard to get in, but it's probably better than them being loose. I wonder if I got the transmission ones in right. I'm gonna go in there and make sure that I did. And I'm gonna spray this out with some brake clean, make it all nice, and I'll run the truck for a little bit, see if this thing wants to work right. I think it will. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get that done. Time has come. Gonna run up to the fuel station. All right, see how it does now. Oh yeah, reverse is there. I'm gonna have to back down my driveway all the way. Sounds okay. This is weird. I've really never backed this thing up before. Now the brake light's off. Interesting. It's in second. I'm gonna have to change the cabin air filter. It smells like mice. Like they built a hotel or something. And just, I don't even know how to explain it. Ugh, mold. I don't know. I'm gonna have to change that cabin air filter up. Seems to be shifting fine. Yikes. Just waiting for that sound dragging. Gotta take it easy. Everything seems fine so far. See you guys when I get to the fuel station, unless we lose exhaust before then. Whew. Well, just filled up. Put about, I think, 40 bucks in or so. 10.5 gallons or so. I went ahead and poured about half of this in there. I don't know what's in there. It's a mystery. Seems to work though, that's what people say. And a whole can of Berryman's in there as well, which I also put the big bottle in that truck and SUV one in when I started running this thing for real. But now got some fuel in here. I'm not gonna go crazy yet because I still need to finish that exhaust. Also put new wipers on. I don't know if they work. I don't know. That's, oh sweet, wipers work. Put new ones on. I came with the truck. I don't know. Now I can see. Good. Yeah. Seems fine so far. We're gonna drive back home, get a little bit more onion. Nothing too crazy. Kind of fix that exhaust. So I'm gonna get home, let that cool down, pull it off, put it in the car, and then tomorrow make sure we can get that back on. And then that's just kind of running this thing around a little bit. I have to finish the exhaust soon, and then have to do some other things. Get a bumper, hitch, wire up trailer brakes, or trailer brake controller, and then I think it's ready to see if it can get inspected. I don't know. We'll see. And then figure out what the check engine light's on for. It could be because that exhaust is kind of just hanging on there where the cat is. So, yeah. But I think that's going to end it for this video on the transmission install. Transmission removal and install, I should say. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and share with your friends. It really helps me out, and I like to know that I'm helping people out there, whether it's for entertainment. I mean, I'm not that funny, so pretty dry, actually, some would say. And, you know, I'm kind of, some of this stuff I'm just figuring out for the first time as well. So, like I said, thanks for watching KB Living. I'll see you next time.